Last time out for the R&G British Talent Cup at Knockhill, we were in the sunshine and it was always going to be an exciting affair with Evan Belford leading the way from Emmanuel Brinton down towards the first corner. Sullivan Mounty getting himself into third place. Belford with a fantastic start, followed by Brinton, then Harley McCabe as well. Not too far adrift as well, as they set about jostling for that final podium place. This was Mounsey versus McCabe in towards the final corner. McCabe on the outside, Mounsey on the inside, up through into that final podium position there for Mounsey at the front. Meanwhile, it was Belford versus Brinton, a race-long battle that was always going to be exciting between the top two, as Mounsey managed to keep the better of Harley McCabe at this point in the race. And then there was drama, unfortunately, for Clayton Edmonds. Over the hill he went down, and then another rider followed them in sympathy as well. Thankfully, both up and okay, but it did bring out the red flag. It meant that Evan Belford was crowned as the winner from the number 43 of Emmanuel Brinton. Welcome along to race one of the R&G British Talent Cup here at Snetterton. I would say in the sunshine, but the clouds have rather managed to replace that over the course of the last half an hour or so. Here is Harley McCabe on the outside of the second row of the grid. Alongside him is Sullivan Mounty, who we saw looking so promising at Knockhill just a couple of weeks ago. And keep an eye out for this man here, Harrison Desoy, as well, who's looking pretty quick and looking like he could bring the fight to the front. The riders lined up on the grid, ready to go then for the first race of the weekend, I should say, for the R&G British Talent Cup. This is your front row. Julian Correa on board the Microlist Cresswell Racing Machine on board the number 40. His best qualifying of the season so far. Emmanuel Brinton returning to the championship for a second round in succession, lining up in the middle of that front row. And it is a third pole of the season for Evan Belford. The championship leader starts at the front of the grid. Is he going to be able to take what could possibly be his third win of the 2023 campaign? Well, we're about to find out. 12 laps ahead of the riders as they get ready for their warm-up lap here. This, of course, is one of the first steps on the motorcycle racing ladder for a lot of the riders here in the R&G British Talent Cup. There's a lot of action, a lot of names that I'm sure will be doing big things in the future, and you wonder what is going to happen over the course of this afternoon here for the first race of the weekend. Evan Belford has been in superlative form over the last couple of rounds here, Neil, and he starts again from pole position here this afternoon.
Yeah, very much so, and he's been the man so far this weekend through free practice and also, of course, in qualifying. Emmanuel Brinton, however, I've been watching his progress, and he's been chipping away as well, just finding his way around this Snetterton circuit, and to get within a tenth of the pole sitter Evan is very impressive. And these guys are actually second faster than third place man Julian Correa. So yeah, it's going to be a two-way battle at the front, depending on how they both get off the line. But yeah, Emmanuel Brinton, very, very impressive. And I think something that brought it home to me, he was so disappointed when the Knockhill race got stopped early and he actually didn't win, because he couldn't console himself, because he really felt like he had another victory in the bag up there as well. Yeah, so he's learned from that, and we'll be hoping for a better run of things here this afternoon. You can see Evan Belford's championship advantage sits at 32 points here going into this one. There's actually only 9 points coming into the Knockhill weekend, and in very, very impressive results then from Belford to manage to extend that advantage. Here is the grid then, so it's Belford, Brinton and Correa on the front row. Row 2, Harrison Desoy, Sullivan Mounty and Harley McCabe, who was oh so impressive just a couple of weeks ago in Scotland. Rhys Stevenson returning after a very big crash in the second race ahead of Scott McPhee and Philip Sorowiak. Row 4 is number 29 of Lucas Brown, Ronnie Harris and Ryan Frost, with a bit of a lower qualifying than he would have liked here this weekend, ahead of Davidson, Jalif and Harrison Mackay on the 5th row. Row 6 is Charlie Huntingford, then Ollie Walker on the Vision Track Machine ahead of Clayton Edmonds. Row 7, Alexander Rowan, Josh Bannister and Peter Willis. Row 8 is Pilpenko, Goodman and Barnes. Row 9 is George Bowles with Banish and Jones. And then the 10th row of the grid, all on his own, is the debutant here for this weekend. That is Luke Schofield, making his first step up to the R&G British Talent Cup.
The riders then making their way on to the grid. It's Evan Belford who lines up at the head of the field, a clear track in front of him for the third time this season. Will it be first to the checkered flag in just 12 laps? I'm sure we will find out, and I'm sure we will see that man alongside him, Emmanuel Brinton, trying to take the fight to the front as well. Considering that Brinton is making his debut in the class full-time this year, we know that a lot of the circuits he has not been to before, and well, we saw at Knockhill last time out that he was able to adapt pretty quickly, and with a qualifying on the front row of the grid here for the first race of the RNG British Talent Cup, he's adapted pretty well to this Snetterton circuit also. Likewise, Julian Correa on the outside of the front row. What's he going to be able to do? Green flag is then waved at the back. 12 laps of action for the RNG British Talent Cup here at Snetterton. Red lights are on, lights are out, and we're underway. Good start from Belford. Great from Julian Correa off the outside of the front row. He outdrags Emmanuel Brinton, who struggles away from the start. Down in towards the first corner, it's Correa then. Brinton to the inside of Belford, gets himself up into second place. So Belford goes backwards from first to third at the first corner of Riches. Down in towards Wilson Bend we go, and this is where we'll see moves being made indeed for the race lead, because Brinton goes to the inside of Julian Correa and takes the lead away. So Belford in the wars a little bit in the early stages of the first lap. It's Brinton from Correa, from Belford, then Harrison Desoy. Then it is going to be the number 4 of Sullivan Mounsey, followed by Harley McCabe, who sits in 6th place.
Fantastic launch for Julian Correa there, just off third on the grid. Evan Belford was the big loser, starting from pole, already back to third. And yeah, but Emmanuel Brinton, he was the man. He's very confident on the brakes. He's only got one mission on his mind, and that's to get to the front and hopefully pull away.
Well, Harrison Desoy was racing over in the European Talent Cup last weekend. It's done him absolutely no harm at all as he fights with his teammate, the number 40 of Julian Correa. Correa having a really good run in the early stages of this race. Best qualifying of the season for him. His first front row start of the 2023 campaign. His best finish so far this year has been 5th place. The podium finishes have eluded the American rider so far, and you wonder whether he is going to be able to take the fight to Emmanuel Brinton as Belford looks to the inside here of Harrison Desoy down the Bentley Straight. That's in the battle for 3rd place. To the inside goes Correa for the race lead on Emmanuel Brinton, and looks like Brinton was trying to chop the nose of him off, and indeed he was. Flicks it into the right-hander and is able to hold firm in the race lead for now, but that's going to bunch the pack up a little bit closer behind there as Belford still tries to find his way past Harrison Desoy for 3rd.
Yeah, Brinton won't take any passengers at all, but Harrison Desoy, yeah, he was in Portimao actually, and that'll have done him no harm at all. Just great experience for the youngsters. It's about track time, different experiences, different championships, and the European Talent Cup is one hell of a championship, so he's going to come back here a better rider than he was before he left.
Yeah, a few riders making good ground in the opening stages. Ryan Frost, Alexander Rowan, Josh Bannister, all making a few positions up. Meanwhile, here we are with Reece Stevenson, who goes side by side with Harley McCabe. That's in the battle for 6th place in this one. Stevenson, the Lincolnshire lad, gets himself ahead of the number 7 of McCabe at the start of lap 2. At the front, still Brinton that leads the way. But for how long? Because you know that if Julian Correa sniffs an opportunity, that he is going to grab that with both hands. Nose to tail they run through into the left-hander of Palmer's, and then on the run down the short straight in towards Agostini's. Of course, these being slightly smaller bikes, overtaking opportunities are a bit more frequent than we might see on some of the larger machines.
That's right. They're light, and you can change line mid-corner, so quite often we'll see riders 2 or 3 abreast heading into corners, and quite often the same situation going around the corners. But slipstream is so important in this class and makes such a big difference. It's very difficult for a leading rider to pull away, because the following riders, a vacuum appears that actually pulls the leading rider back in, so you really need like 6-7 bike lengths before you're clear of that vacuum. But at the moment, Emmanuel Brinton doing everything he can, but at this point in time, yeah, the number 40 Correa is very well positioned to get into slipstream as I head along the back straight.
Yeah, Emmanuel Brinton having taken 1 win so far this year. That was race 1 at Knockhill last time out. Here is Belford on the recovery then against Harrison Desoy. Side by side they go down the Bentley Straight. Belford to the inside. Goodness me, that was very close under the brakes there. Desoy chops the nose off of Belford and holds firm into 3rd place for now, but they were centimetres apart coming into the braking zone there.
Yeah, very difficult to pass down the inside and turn. The wider you are to the right, the easier it is. It opens a corner out, and easier it is to turn in there. But when you're in tight, then it's very difficult to turn in, and it's a very fast corner. You're braking hard. Very easy to lose the front, but kept it safe this time. But you see Evan Belford, if anything, getting a little bit frustrated. It's fine maybe in the top 3. He doesn't want the leaders to break away at this point. He's desperate to get in touch with Brinton.
Top 7 riders having a bit of daylight now between themselves and Lucas Brown, who sits in 8th place, just a couple of bike lengths off the back of this leading gaggle of riders down towards the first corner. It is still Brinton that leads the way at the start of lap 3. There is Harley McKay, who was close to the podium last time out. 4th place it was in the second race. We saw a few moments ago how impressive he is under braking, and you wonder whether he is going to be able to take the fight to Sullivan Mounsey. Mounsey's real strong point this year actually has been in the braking zones, and we know that if anyone's going to get the bike to stop late, it is going to be Sullivan.
He is a racer. He will. Yeah, and you don't have to pass. You just need to get alongside the rider and block them into the corner. There's no need to get all the way in front. Evan Belford, though, he's looking for passing manoeuvres. Oh, yeah, that might just be a mistake there from Harrison Desoy. Might just work for Evan Belford.
Whilst they're starting to squabble in front, it's the man who's in 6th, Rhys Stevenson, in the black number 23, who's ready to try and take advantage of him. Let's have another look at that moment there between with Harrison Desoy. So just going through the left-hander of Agos here.
Oh, he actually, yeah, it was Correa. Maybe a little bit slower than he anticipated. Harrison carried a lot of corner speed in there, and he looked like he got on the brake. That was where the bobble. I thought it was from the rear, but it was actually, he had to brake just to avoid Correa.
Belford now ahead of Harrison Desoy, so up into the podium places for the first time since the opening lap of the race there for Belford, who's been a little bit in the wars in the opening few laps of this race, riding the curbs. They are on the exit of Nelson's and down in towards the bomb hole, really pushing the limits here. And still Brinton it is that leads the way, 2/10 to the good of Julian Correa, who's having a fantastic ride so far here this weekend. Easily the best we've seen from the Americans so far this year.
Yeah, very much so. Great little riding style as well.
Yeah, I was talking down to John Cresswell earlier on this year down at Knock Hill in the paddock. The passion from John as well, where he puts this all together. He stayed in the lightweight classes and wants to see the younger talent coming through as Correa just drops down to 3rd place with Belford getting himself up into P2 for the first time. But yeah, just going back to John Cresswell, just incredibly impressive stuff as Correa tries to retaliate on Belford here.
Yeah, John been around forever. When my lads got into the paddock in 1252 shops, John was there 2009, 2010. That's when I first got to know him, and totally passionate all the way through.
Through the left-hander we go, side by side there. Brinton ran it a bit wide. I think he might have almost been on the grass, perhaps there. That's left him under attack here, possibly from Julian Correa. So Belford hits the front. Here comes Correa to the inside. As looking to the outside there is Harrison Desoy, Correa's teammate. They're going to go 3 abreast on the exit of the corner, so that's really ruffled the feathers here of Emmanuel Brinton. He loses 1 place. He's possibly going to be set to lose 2 here because Harrison Desoy's ready to try and pick his pockets. Through the left-hander they go. Brinton's going to have to try and retaliate. He does so into the right-hander of Williams and on the run to the Bentley straight. So Brinton regroups back in front, up into 2nd once more.
It's really played into Evan Belford's hands, though. Yeah, a nice little gift there. Got a 2nd gap, I would estimate there. And you can see Emmanuel Brinton realising that he had got himself in a little bit of trouble, and it was a case of into pass or B-pass mode. He basically just needs to do everything he can to get back in touch with Belford. Maybe being a little bit bigger, a bit less aerodynamic. He's lost out a little bit along that back straight, and he's
pushing the front end, isn't he?
Pushing that bike to the limit. He's got skills. He's relaxed when he has to be, but he's pushing hard. He desperately doesn't want to see Evan Belford disappear into the distance. He's
definitely one of the taller riders in the field, is Emmanuel Brinton, and you can see that just by how he dwarfs one of these Moto3 machines. He sits at about 5'10", 5'11", something along the lines of that. So very, very tall compared to these 90-kilogram machines. Stislav Pelpanko sadly coming into the... it looks like he's actually crashed at Agostini's, unfortunately, so technical problem, actually, as I've just had confirmation. So that's an early end to his race. Meanwhile, Belford sets the quickest lap at 2:02.9 for him. Down in towards the first corner. Looks like the Desoy was getting right up onto the white line there.
That was millimetres from disaster because, yeah, use every inch of the track. Use the white line if you have to, but you can't use the grass, especially when you're braking and you're pushing hard in there into Ritchie's. That's a very fast entry there.
Let's have another look here.
That, yeah, the number 55 out wide. And that's fine. There's a little bit of tarmac there. Maybe he knew exactly what he was doing, but that definitely makes me nervous because you start to get cocky. You just think you swing out there, there's nothing left. It's tarmac, then grass, and there is no grip. Dry as it is, there's no grip on that grass. Now we're going to see Emmanuel Brinton was really comfortable leading. He's quite happy to be leading, but I'm not sure if he had anything left, but we will see now. He really has to get his head down. Fastest lap now to Evan Belford, while in the lead 2:02.924, which is a little bit under, a fair bit under his qualifying pole time. So pushing hard. Yeah,
track's getting faster, getting a bit more rubbered in, and you can see there these two Microlist Cresswell Racing riders. If you're John Cresswell stood on the pit wall, you're going to be having kittens at the moment with these two very close to one another. You can see the live point standings on your screen. It's 32 points going into this weekend for Evan Belford, up to 37 if the checkered flag fell now, but we're not even at the halfway stage of this race as we go 2 by 2 here between Desoy and Correa into the left-hander of Brundle. No way through for Desoy at the moment as the front end chatters away. Onto the grass there for Correa as well, possibly allowing another opportunity to present itself here for the 55 of Harrison Desoy. They are going absolutely flat out at the moment as they come through into Coram.
Frustration kicking in with these two teammates. Really, it would be a lot worse just to maybe just work together, pulling each other along the straights. We can see Emmanuel Brinton is pulling away. Evan Belford, though, that's a sign of a true championship leader or a true champion. Got to the front, got his head down, setting the fastest lap on his own, unruffled. And meanwhile, number 43, Emmanuel Brinton, does everything he can to try and close that gap. The gap now is 1.3 seconds.
These two teammates knocking 7 bells out of one another. Look at exactly. Well, look, Brinton's cleared off in front. He's got about a second over them now, and it's dropped them right out of contention.
And Mounsey and McCabe have come into play.
So through into the right-hander we go in this battle for third place. Now 4 riders involved. Fastest lap again from Evan Belford, a 2:02.389 for him. Side by side we go still with the two Microlist Cresswell Racing teammates. Side by side as well between McCabe and Mounsey in towards Agos. Up the inside goes Desoy, a bit late through there. He's not going to make that stick, but amazingly he manages to in the second part of the corner as Harrison Desoy gets the better of his teammate. McCabe also moving in front of Sullivan Mounsey too.
And that lap time from Evan Belford, the Midlands rider, very impressive. Just 2/10 outside the lap record.
Yes, super impressive stuff from these riders, all 4 of them jostling for position. Such a shame though, because where they've been roughing each other up, it's now just dropped them back off of Emmanuel Brinton, who in turn doesn't look like he's got the pace to contend with Evan Belford. Belford extending his advantage to 1.8 seconds out at the sharp end of this one as the riders come down in towards Brundles once more, pushing the front end and wide there. Harrison Desoy really beginning to push the envelope here then as they come through into the right-hander of Nelson's. The bomb hole awakes. Let's have another look and see this move here between Harrison Desoy and Julian Correa. He's up the inside here, really late in the corner, but manages to get it done.
Yeah, he showed them a wheel. Desoy had to run wide, but just still costing each other time, really. You can see now Sullivan, Mounsey, Hartley, McCabe very much in line for a podium position.
Rhys Stevenson there just kind of in no man's land at the moment. Great return to the championship there for him because he actually did some damage to one of his toes and his wrist after a crash at Knock Hill a couple of weeks ago. And good to see him back out on the bike and competing inside the top 10. This is the battle for the final points-paying position. Just at the front of it there is Ollie Walker. Ollie actually made the transition over to the Vision Track Racing team. And I was down talking to team manager Nathan at Knock Hill a couple of weeks ago. He was full of praise for Ollie and also for Steve Patrickson as well. So he's really set him up really nicely to embed himself in the team so well, so quickly.
Yeah, great to see. Yeah, of course, all these bikes, NS 250R Hondas, around 40 brake horsepower, pretty much identical.
Look at this!
This is getting messy.
Yeah, that is Julian Correa. Now in the middle of the two Microlist bikes is Harley McCabe on board the green and blue number 7, flicking it through the left hand of the R, slightly wide on the exit of the corner there for Correa. That's going to possibly leave him under attack here, but no room at the inn into Oggies and then to Williams for McCabe at the moment. His best bet is to try and set something up down this back straight and in towards the left-hander of Brundles, which follows. Nose to tail, these 4 riders are running in the battle for the final podium place. McCabe jinks to the inside of the American Correa, and will he be able to mount an attack? Likewise, Mounty attacking Desoy as well in the background there. Into the left-hander we go, and they managed to keep in the same positions that they entered the corner in.
Very much so. Sullivan Mounsley getting a triple slipstream effect there as he headed onto the back straight. Not quite close enough to get alongside the past them, but yeah, this really is anybody's third place.
Yeah, super impressive stuff there. You can see the impatience coming in here from Harrison Desoy and Sullivan Mounsley to a point as well. Desoy looking to the outside line through core and going to flick it into the left-hander. He was close, but he wasn't quite there to try and send one up the inside. That's really a sort of last lap move, isn't it, that?
Yeah, it is, and it's sketchy as well. It's so easy just to think you can get past the rider in front, just cut your nose off, and you can both end up on the grass on the outside of the track. Look at this, that is broken the last new lap record to Evan Belford. Very impressed, especially that he's doing it at the front, under pressure from Emmanuel Brinton. Yeah, super impressive stuff there for Evan Belford. As you said, another lap record being broken late on the brakes there for Harley McCabe as he elevates himself up into P3, runs it wide at Wilson's though. Back through goes Correa. So Correa now back in front, look over the shoulder there. Meanwhile, just for the number 4, Sullivan Mounsley, Desoy to the inside of Harley McCabe there, but not close enough to get a wheel up the inside and hold firm. McCabe now is on the attack as they come down in towards Agos. Is he going to think about the inside line on the braking into there? Not close enough at the moment. The boot scuffs its way onto the tarmac. And the thing is, it's a case of pass or be pass. It's what we're used to seeing in the likes of Junior Supersport at the moment. Yeah, very much so. I think Sullivan Mounsley could be the big winner here because these three are really giving each other some stick pretty much every corner. And as the laps tick away, Sullivan Mounsley still close. They're going to get a nice run onto the back straight. May well get into the slipstream of Desoy this time. So through into the right they go on the run down into the straight. This is where we'll see that slipstream really wide there though for Sullivan Mounsley coming through the right-hander of Williams, and that's just going to cost him just a tenth or two, isn't it? Yeah, it really is, and it's so important just to be pretty much on the back wheel of the guy in front if you've got any attempt to pass. But then, of course, gearing comes into play. If you've geared your bike for maximum acceleration, you may well run out of revs on the back straight once you get into 6th gear. So it may well be that you can't pass them anyway, but he's just got to hang in there. Still very much a podium position on the offer for all of these 4 guys. Yeah, looking a little bit further down, Filip Sorowiec having a good ride in 10th place as well. He's actually had a couple of top 10 finishes so far this year, one at Donington and one at Knockhill last time out, so looking like he is managing to keep himself pretty consistent in terms of his finishes in 2023. Across the timeline we go, coming towards the sort of business end now of this race. There is Julian Correa still sitting in front of Harley McCabe. In front of them, just in the foreground, was Emmanuel Brinton, and Brinton, despite his pace being good, it's just not as good as Evan Belford, who's extended that advantage at the front to over 5.3 seconds. Huge for in British Talent Cup terms, yeah. And that, whoa, look at this! Desoy to the inside of Harley McCabe. Nice pass. Yeah, really nice. Doesn't run it too wide on the exit and manages to hold into 4th place for now, but you know that McCabe is going to try and retaliate as soon as he can. They've got to keep a watching brief on Sullivan Mounsley, because if you give him an inch, he'll take a mile. Let's have another look at this one here, Neil. Yeah, down the inside for number 55. Very safe, got alongside. Harley McCabe can see him in his peripheral, so there's no problem. He wasn't pushing him wide. Well controlled. And at that point, Correa got a fantastic launch off the corner. He just got it perfect. But I suspect he's lost out a little bit now to Desoy. Well, let's see what is going to happen in this battle for the final podium place. There's only going to be one rider that can occupy it, and there's 4 going for it at the moment. I keep thinking this must be the last lap. They're going nuts, but yeah, got a few laps to go yet. Yeah, they really have been knocking 7 bells out of one another as this race has developed, and it's been the case since lights out, really. It's a shame that they haven't been able to be involved in the battle for the race lead, but such is the pace that Belford and Brinton have had over these 4 riders. They've just been able to put enough of an advantage between them. Desoy still holds on to 3rd there, with Correa and McCabe very close behind, and thing is, one slight error can just drop you back not only a couple of tenths but also a couple of places. That's right, and while these bikes are light and you really can take liberties, you can pass, you can change line mid-corner, you can outbrake, but there will always be a limit, and that's what we don't any of these guys to find a limit. But you get into being so confident, you feel like you can do anything, get away with anything, but that's when things can go wrong.
Coming towards the closing stages now of this race, do you think the riders are going to be thinking about some dress rehearsals, or do you think they're just going to seize an opportunity if it presents them and go for it?
I'd love to say yes, but I think for the likes of Sullivan Mousey there, he might just get his head down. He knows he can pick up some pieces, but I don't think there's any plan in place. I think this is going to go all the way to the last corner. All of these 4 guys are just going to be passing or getting past, and Harrison Desoy definitely strong into that corner. He's got a good passing manoeuvre for the last lap, but there's half a dozen passing places after that. Should that be the last lap?
Well, 2 riders here chasing their first podiums of 2023. That is Harrison Desoy and Julian Correa. Sorry, apologies. I should say rather Harley McCabe and Julian Correa. These 2 riders have not had a podium finish so far this year. Desoy has done so, and likewise Sullivan Mousey as well. So there are 2 riders that have got a little bit more sort of maybe stuffed away, thinking, oh, well, you know, if I go for it, it could be my first time on the rostrum this year.
Yeah, that's an incentive in itself. The rostrum's so important. Finishing 4th sometimes can feel like finishing last when you're so close to the podium. So that's a massive incentive. You just want to get one in the bag, and you haven't stood up on there before during the season, then it's huge. You just want to get your weekend off to a great start, and a podium is certainly that.
Yeah, 2 wins so far in 2023 for Harrison Desoy. Sullivan Mousey has had 3 podium finishes so far this year, including a win at Donington earlier on this season. Harley McCabe going to the inside of the 2 Microlist Crestwell Racing bikes. You don't go 2 by 2 through there too often. Harrison Desoy holding now ahead of his teammate. Lap and a half now, or nearly 2 laps, I should say, to go as they come through into the right-hander of the bomb hole, and then it's Coram.
I can't see who's got any advantage here. You've got to say Sullivan Mousey is able to hang on, but he hasn't been able to do any passing unless he's got something huge up his sleeve for the closing laps. But the 3 in the front seem to be able to shuffle backwards and forwards, while Sullivan Mousey just hangs fire in the back. But that might not be a bad move.
Yeah, I was just looking at the pace difference between the 4 riders, I should say, and it's pretty similar, actually, all lapping within a couple of tenths of a second of one another. A little bit further back, this is Lucas Brown. You could just see there, he is sitting in 9th place. Ahead of him is Ryan Frost on board the number 24. Penultimate lap, we are though, meanwhile, as Evan Belford has pulled out near enough 6.7 seconds over Emmanuel Brinton in 2nd place. Here comes Harrison Desoy to the inside of his teammate at Wilson's. The nose very firmly chopped off there for him, possibly leaving under attack. A rider's gone down. Unfortunately, they're up and okay. And walking away from that, and that was Josh Bannister that's gone down, unfortunately. So Bannister, who was, I think, just outside of the points positions, has gone down the road. Let's see if we can piece together. That's through Coram.
Clipped the rear of the rider in front, number 2 Josh going down there, but yeah, that's a really weird play.
Oh no, that's Desoy. Sorry to interrupt you, Neil. Harrison Desoy has gone down the road and thrown away a possible podium position here. What a huge shame for Harrison Desoy. You can see just how frustrated he is following that as he lies at the side of the circuit. Let's hope he's able to get up and to his feet and away from any harm. Let's have another look and see if we can piece together what happened, because we only caught the back end of it. He's on the inside of teammate Correa.
Still needs the left hand here. Pinot backed in there, maybe went back, I don't know, back too many gears, and looked like, yeah, the rear obviously came round there. Just really weird. It wasn't a high side on throttle, exiting the corner. He maybe just backshifted 1 too many gears.
Oh, what a shame for Harrison Desoy. He's attended to by the medics and the marshals here. They get him out of harm's way. It does mean that as he is moved away from the circuit, that it becomes a 3-way podium squabble, a trio of riders all battling for 3rd place, rather than the 4-way duel that we saw. As you can see, Evan Belford coming across the timing line, ready to start his final lap as Emmanuel Brinton looks around, and we'll see 3 riders of Julian Correa, Sullivan Mousey and Harley McCabe.
Yes,
all very much the
made his move, number 4.
Yeah, he has, and now he's going to put the pressure on Julian Correa. So just playing the smart and the long game here for Sullivan Mousey as they go 3 abreast down in towards the first corner. Harley McCabe to the outside. 2 for the price of 1 at Riches. What a move!
Well, it's one thing we know about Sullivan Mousey. He is a racer, and he will have a go if at all possible there's any opportunities, but yeah, that was a brave move for Harley McCabe.
How on earth did he get that stopped? Supreme confidence. He's got him in the front end, chasing his first podium of the 2023 season. He's now in the prime seats to do so, with Correa and Mounsey close behind, though, and over half a lap to go. It's still very much up for grabs, but they've just sort of spread out a little bit by a few bike lengths, haven't they, over the last couple of corners?
And a nice gap there as Correa does everything he can. The brakes, see that bike weaving around as I head into Agostini's, gets it stopped. It's got a gap here. It's not enough maybe to stop Correa getting his slipstream as they head round this double right-hander onto the back straight, but he's certainly pushing.
Absolutely superb stuff from Harley McCabe to get that move done, and that could be the overtake which gets him on to the podium here this afternoon at Snetterton. Let's see what happens in terms of the slipstream here between himself and Julian Correa. Both of these riders chasing their first rostrum finish of the season. Down the Bentley Straight we go for the final time. You can see tucking into the slipstream there is Julian Correa. He's going to surely think about it into the final corner. That's got to be the best opportunity for him there, as McCabe runs it a little bit wide through the left-hander.
Not too bad, the Correa a little bit wide there. Didn't get a perfect drive on the way out. Yeah, this impressive man, number 52, Evan Belford, through the final corner.
What a brilliant ride it is for Evan Belford. 7.3 seconds he has over Emmanuel Brinton. It's 2 in a row for Evan Belford here for race 1 of the R&G British Talent Cup at Snetterton. Absolute domination from him. Brinton will come home second, and who is going to get the final spot on the rostrum? It's a drag to the line between McCabe and Correa. As they come to the checkered flag, who's going to take it? I think Correa just got the better of McCabe by 1,000th of a second. What an unbelievable finish there. The American Julian Correa taking the final spot on the podium, his first of 2023, by just 1,000th of a second over Harley McCabe ahead of Sullivan Mounsey. It's not over further down as well. The final spot in the top 10 will be taken by Scott McPhee ahead of the number 8 of Alfie Davidson and Ronnie Harris. And still side by side we are further back as well, but I'm running out of superlatives to describe this man here, Evan Belford. The absolute perfect race. Didn't exactly get the best start away from the lights, but once he was into the sharp end of the field, he had absolutely no competition from behind. It is his 3rd win of the season. And what a great ride also from Emmanuel Brinton with that 2nd place finish. Great for him to get another podium place on the board. Let's have another look, shall we, at the drag to the line here between McCabe and Correa, Neil.
Yeah, pretty sure Harley McCabe thought he had this one in the bag, number 7, closest to us, but yeah, Correa there just got the perfect drive. He timed his slipstreaming manoeuvre perfectly just to pop out. The start-finish line is a fair bit from the last corner, so just shows you it's not over even if you get out onto start-finish straight in front. But yeah, great racing for these guys, and great performance.
Well, Emmanuel Brinton there, you can just see him in the foreground of your picture, taking what is his 5th podium of the 2023 season. Very well-deserved result, and keeping himself as close as he can in championship contention. But a great ride from the number 40 of Julian Correa. His best finish, actually, up until this weekend was 4th at Donington earlier on this season. In the 2nd race, the podium places have eluded him, and he manages to break that duck in spectacular style over Harley McCabe by just 1,000th of a second. It doesn't get much closer than that.
Yeah, Emmanuel Brinton, solid ride for him.
The riders making their way back into pit lane, as once again another visit to the podium for Evan Belford, and the top step for the 3rd time this season. His 6th podium finish of 2023. Let's have a look, shall we, at the final results from the first race of the R&G British Talent Cup here at Snetterton. It's Evan Belford who takes top honours by an amazing nearly 8 seconds from Emmanuel Brinton. Julian Correa, his first visit to the box this year by 1,000th of a second over Harley McCabe. Sullivan Mounsey, a good points finish for him ahead of Rhys Stevenson, who managed to recover after a challenging weekend at Knockhill a couple of weeks ago. Ryan Frost, Philip Sorowiak, Lucas Brown and Scott McPhee completing the top 10 ahead of Alfie Davidson and Ronnie Harris. Alexander Rowan, Ben Jalif and Ollie Charlie Walker completing the point finishers at the end of this race. We'll have a look, shall we, at the point standings after that first race of the weekend. As well for the R&G British Talent Cup, because it was 32 points going into this one, it now sits at 37 points. Evan Belford's advantage over Emmanuel Brinton at the checkered flag. Sullivan Moundsey and Harley McCabe now sit equal on points for third place, and they're a couple ahead of Julian Correa, who elevates himself closer to that challenge for the top three in the standings with that podium finish here this afternoon. A little bit further down, you can see Scott McPhee with that top 10 finish as well, moves himself just ahead of Josh Bannister, who DNF'd in spectacular style in the closing stages of that race. He's just a point shy of Harrison Mackay there in 14th. Let's have a look, shall we, at this finish again between the top three riders, the top three battle. That's a thousandth of a second in a still image between Julian Correa and Harley McCabe.
Yeah, and it's enough. Never over till it's over, but yeah, how good is that? And that's the beauty of this class.
It's about the width of James Whittam's wallet. Let's go down and catch up with our finishers.
Right, down here with Julian Correa. Julian, what a move on that last lap. You got your first podium of the year by less than 1,000th of a second.
Yeah, I know it was a super tight drag to the line. I knew Harley was going to push as hard as possible on the last lap, and I let him in front of me actually on the brakes, and because I knew I had the legs under me to get to the line in front, and I didn't think it was going to be that close, but it was. But I'm super stoked on this first podium. The whole Microlights Crestwell Racing team, I can't thank them enough. We've been through so much this the past season and going into this season, but I just want to give a big thanks to my parents. I love them so much. Mr. Michael Torres, Coach Torres. Yeah, I'm speechless. I can't, but I'm just so happy.
Hey, the good news is you get another chance to do it all again tomorrow, so well done for today.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Good job. Right, second place then we got Emmanuel Brinton. Emmanuel, squeeze yourself in here, young man. That looked like it was going to be quite a different race at one point, but your teammate Evan just managed to get away from you a little bit at the end.
Yeah, I made a mistake near the beginning of the race, and it was just a bit too much of a gap to close back in, but well, happy with the second place considering it's my first time at this track. So yeah, I just want to thank the team, my family, all of my sponsors for making it possible.
Looked to me like the front of your bike was a little bit stiff. You were really, really good on the brakes, but sometimes releasing the brake bike wasn't turning quite so well. Was that what was going on?
Yeah, the rear wheel was like lifting up in the air so much, and it was just really difficult to get the bike stopped. But yeah, we'll try and sort that out for tomorrow and push for the victory. We
wish you the best of luck. Well done, Emmanuel.
Thank you.
Right then, your race one winner, Evan Belford, just walking down into shot. Evan, that was your biggest ever win margin. You took a new lap record and basically destroyed everybody by about 8 seconds, and you're not smiling. What's wrong?
I'm really chuffed with my result. The start of the race was a bit hard for me. I got overtaken by a couple of people, but I went my way back to the front and I didn't give up, and I just tried to bridge my gap from the front because I knew I had the consistency to pull away from the others. But yeah, I'm really happy with my result. We might need a couple of changes on the rear end of the bike tomorrow to be able to make me go faster. But yeah, I'm really happy with my result. I'd like to thank all the team.
Go much faster than that. You'll be able to enter your bike in the Superbike races. Well done.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Well, great ride from Evan Belford there, taking yet another win this season. Absolutely superb stuff from him. What a superbly dominant performance it was from the number 52, extending his advantage in the championship there crucially as well. Emmanuel Brinton, I'm sure he'll be, well, he said he was happy, but I imagine he'll be a little bit disappointed with that second place deep down. He always wants to go for the win. This man here will be absolutely delighted, though, with his first podium visit of the season. Julian Correa for the Microlights Crestwell Racing team. There is Emmanuel Brinton. He'll be, I'm sure, thinking about what he's going to be able to do to turn around his fortunes and reverse the order on the podium here for race 2 tomorrow. And there is Evan Belford once again on the top step of the podium for the second time in succession this season as well, after that win at race 2 at Knockhill just a couple of weeks ago. As the podium places and the podium trophies are presented to our top 3 competitors. Great ride from Evan Belford, and with the lap record, he will be starting this one from pole position for race 2 here tomorrow at Snetterton. Let's see whether he can convert it to 2 wins from 2 here in Norwich. Let's have a look then, shall we, at highlights from race 1 of the R&G British Talent Cup here at Snetterton. It was Evan Belford who started from pole position, but he didn't get the best start away from the grid. It was Julian Correa and Emmanuel Brinton who managed to get the better of the pole sitter in towards the first turn. And then it was a case of trying to fight his way back through the field. He got actually quite ruffled up in the opening stages of the race as Brinton went to the inside of Correa for the race lead in the opening stages. Saw a few moves being made with Harrison Desoy going around the outside of the championship leader. And then Brinton getting himself ahead of Julian Correa as well. Meanwhile, further back as the race unfolded and Brinton cleared off out in front, it was Harley McCabe versus Correa in the battle for the final podium place, with Harrison Desoy in the mix there, as well as Sullivan Moundy. Up the inside went Correa on this occasion, going through into the podium places. But here is Harrison Desoy to the inside of his teammate. But have a look at this, going on the power there. Something clearly not right with his bike, or whether he backshifted too many gears out of the race and out of podium contention. But it was a dominant win for Evan Belford. And then the battle for the final podium place between Correa and McCabe, won by the number 40 by just 1,000th of a second, with Belford taking another win.